Welcome to Colón.
Yes, Panama.
Welcome to my colon.
We cannot...
Yes, we are in Panama.
We are, yes, brand new country for us, Panama.
It's very humid, and truth be told, this is after what you're about to see.
Yes.
Because we needed to get to where we needed to be this morning to make sure we made it to our trip.
Yes.
So we're filming this in the future.
Yes, but welcome back to the series if you have been following along.
Yes, if you are new here, we are Travels with David.
And Mark. We bring you along for weekly cruise and travel related videos. In this series we are on an epic 16-night voyage with Virgin Voyages, where brilliant lady is going through the Panama Canal for the very first time.
Yeah, so all ports after Panama
are brand new.
Virgin have never been to any of them.
Neither have we.
Neither have we.
Yes, if you want to follow along, do subscribe.
Yes.
We'll be bringing you along for the actual transit through the canal in next week's video.
We shall. But today's video, we are heading out of Colón. We are going to...
You're exiting your colon.
I'm exiting my colon, much like my dinner did this morning.
Oh, no.
And we are heading to Gatun Lake, and we are going to see wildlife.
We're doing a Shore Things excursion.
Yes, through Virgin.
We need to go and get checked in, though.
We do.
Well, we've already checked in.
We've already checked in. But we will see you in the red room.
And that's us all checked in for our excursion.
Yes, it's the same as we did for the Colombia excursion, where we came to the red room, we got our boarding group, we're boarding group 20 today, and then came and sat down. This lighting is not attractive.
Quite stark. Is the word harsh?
I think it is. Very, very harsh.
I wonder if there's going to be as many excursions today as yesterday, because there were so many buses yesterday in Colombia.
But we are on a later one today, so I wonder if there were some earlier ones. I wonder how many of them go
Well, no, because we
early.
only docked like half an hour
Oh, we
ago.
did actually, yeah. Good point. So far, it seems a little bit quieter, and they're boarding differently. So yesterday, which was last week's video, they boarded row by row, so all the buses must have been ready at the same time.
Yeah, whereas they're doing it by group this time.
Group numbers this time.
Which makes more sense, really.
Yeah, so they've just, I don't know if it will go in order or not, but they've just boarded groups 9, 10 and 11.
Yeah.
So we've got a little while to wait if it's in sequential order.
We are just sitting, waiting our turn.
But at least we sat down, we're in an air-conditioned area, because it's very warm outside.
Yes.
Get ready to see some sweat patches, people.
But yes, we're going on another boat tour today, actually, but slightly different to yesterday's.
Yeah, not entirely sure what to expect. It sounded nice when we did it. We apparently do like a 30-minute high-speed boat ride through the canal.
Thrilling!
And then we go through some islands. I think there's a chance to see animals.
Monkeys, maybe.
Monkeys, birds.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Come along with us, as always.
A very quick 20 minutes later, our group was called to disembark the ship. Today's excursion is called Nature in Motion, Panama Canal Adventure. We'll let you know how much we paid and whether we think this official Virgin Voyages excursion was actually worth the cost a little later on. As we mentioned earlier, we'll be heading out onto Gatun Lake, the huge man-made reservoir created during the construction of the canal locks, linking the Caribbean Sea with the Pacific Ocean. It's so vast that it effectively fills the centre of the country. Just like yesterday in Colombia, the start of the excursion was slick and really well organised. We quickly found our coach, boarded up and set off on our adventure. The journey would take around 1 to 1.5 hours, first through Colón and then onto the surrounding countryside. Along the way, our tour guide explained that Panama is almost like a country of two halves. We were currently on the Caribbean side of the canal infrastructure in Colón, an area that, unfortunately, is extremely poor, despite being home to the second largest free trade zone in the world, as well as part of that canal network itself. Sadly, much of the huge revenue generated here doesn't really trickle down into Colón, instead primarily making its way over to Panama City on the Pacific side of the country. It's quite sobering to see, and honestly, we'd probably advise being cautious with self-guided exploring here. Once we were out of the city, and after a quick stop for snacks and our included lunchbox, we sat back, relaxed into the drive and took in the scenery.
And we've made it onto the boat.
We have, yes, we did about an hour's drive outside of Colón.
Yeah, not too bad. We stopped about halfway through for toilet breaks as well, which we were very pleased about.
So we picked up a couple of drinks. We were going to get a bottle.
I wanted to taste some squirt.
We saw one called Squirt, so we wanted to try some.
But then on closer inspection, it was grapefruit juice.
And we don't like grapefruit.
Nope.
So we went, the Squirt could wait.
The squirt could wait, so I got a Gatorade instead, which could be very fitting because we might see
some some crocodiles and caimans. Yes, but anyway, as part of the tour also, we got a little sandwich
and a bottle of water.
And a little cake.
Yeah, the cake was really tasty. The sandwich was far too dense.
Claggy is the word.
The bread was nice. It was just, there was a lot of bread.
Yes. Anyway, we're
here now.
Ready
waiting
for
to
our
set
boat
off.
trip.
Very excited.
All life rafted up. What's it called? Life vested.
It's very flattering.
I'm sweating my tits off, if I'm honest.
Yes. One thing I needed in this humidity was more layers. Anyway, let's see what we see. They said we can see monkeys.
Maybe sloths.
Apart from this one.
Who, me or you?
Me.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
And we didn't have to wait long for our first wildlife sighting. Not a sloth, but literally about 10 seconds into the journey, we passed what can only be described as an iguana on a stick, which honestly isn't something you see every day. From there, we ducked under the low road and railway bridges and out onto Gatun Lake itself, beginning a surprisingly high-speed dash across the water towards the islands, all while weaving between enormous cargo ships making their Panama Canal transit, as our boat absolutely flew across the lake at a rollicking pace. Eventually slowing to something a little more relaxing, we arrived at our first set of islands, which are actually the tops of mountains left behind when this entire area was flooded to create the lake. And almost immediately, we could hear that something special was nearby. At first, it sounded distant and almost unreal, but our guide quickly pointed out that the deep roaring calls echoing through the trees were coming from howler monkeys all around us.
Can you see the others right here?
Floating there in total silence, surrounded by jungle, hearing those unbelievably powerful calls roaring across the lake, it was one of those moments that genuinely gives you goosebumps. The sound was so deep and loud that it almost felt prehistoric, but it also sounded like dogs barking, maybe prehistoric dogs. With the howls still echoing in the background, it was on to our next encounter. We pulled up near an area where Panamanian white-faced capuchins had recently been spotted, and with a few strategically placed bits of banana, it didn't take long before they started revealing themselves in the trees. They were incredibly curious little things too, and some people on the boat next to us definitely got a slightly closer encounter than others. Up next were Panamanian tamarins, much smaller and far shyer than the capuchins, but apparently just as unable to resist banana. After a bit of coaxing, we finally got a proper look at them, including their little tiny tongues lapping up all those last bits of fruit. Our next sighting took a little bit more effort. Even after the guide pointed them out, we were still staring into the trees, wondering where on earth we were supposed to be looking. And then suddenly, there they were. Sloths, fast asleep, high up in the branches. I'm not gonna lie, I think we were slightly losing at this point with footage, mostly consisting of a sloth's backside in a tree. So I might help you out here with a little bit of stock footage, so you can actually imagine what we were looking at. Next up were proboscis bats, a tiny species of bat that unusually likes to sleep lined up along tree trunks. Before we got a very good reminder as to why you should absolutely stay inside the boat at all times on Gatun Lake. Because yes, there are crocodiles and caimans in here too. Although to be fair, this crocodile did seem very relaxed, just casually sunbathing on the shore with his iguana friend nearby. And with that, we sped back out and through the shipping lanes, dodging container ships once again as our Gatun Lake adventure came to an end.
Hello, air conditioning, my old friend.
We are so sweaty.
I'm very sticky.
But we are back on the ship.
We are. That excursion, wow.
Wow, yes. And we all have shown you it all before this point, I'm sure. But yeah, incredible.
Up there with some of the top excursions we've ever done.
Yes.
We saw so much wildlife. The guides were really good in getting you to the places that you needed to be at to see it. And they must have been talking to each other to say,
definitely.
oh, we can see this.
I saw they had hand signals. They were like, go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw capuchins, tamarins, howlers. We saw a crocodile.
A sloth.
A sloths.
In their natural habitat, which is
completely wild.
Yeah.
And we didn't get killed. So that's good.
I hope the sounds, if I captured some sounds, I don't know if
especially of the howler monkeys,
they
I
were
hope.
so loud and so, like, it was quite aggressive, not aggressive, well, it was aggressive, but quite scary.
If you were other wildlife, I wouldn't go near them.
No, they were like...
And that's evolution, people.
But such a good tour.
Such a good tour. Our guide, Nydia, was
Fabulous.
fab as well.
So we paid...
£80.
$100.
$100 per
each.
person for that.
Well worth it.
Absolutely.
I would have paid maybe double. No, not maybe.
I wouldn't have gone that far. Maybe $150. I could do $150.
But yes, very good value for money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very pleased.
Yeah, we did have a slight panic when we arrived at the bus and someone said it was an hour and a half drive. We're like, ooh. I don't know if we.
But what about toilets?
Yeah, because I guess just to be real for slightly, we travel a lot, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
But both of us have some anxieties about travel, which is mad considering we do this. Isn't it really?
Yeah, but we manage them.
We do.
We have coping strategies. And
we do.
It's, for us, the end point, it's the
always,
ends justify the means.
Yes, exactly the point I was going to get onto. Because we joke on the channel about if I have a coffee, things may occur. And that anxiety, and people might have the same thing, that you don't travel too much because the panic of what if I need to do
a poo
sometimes can take over your will to go somewhere. So when they said it's an hour and a half's journey on a bus with no toilet, I did have a panic. And then it was a 2-hour, we haven't said it was a 2-hour
boat ride
trip with obviously no access to a toilet unless you want to poke your bum over the side.
Sexual fertilisation for the water.
I did have a panic. However, I also had a moment as we were sailing, just before we saw the crocodile, as we were sailing back towards the port, where I nearly teared up because pushing myself to do it was worth it because it was phenomenal. Those monkeys, I love monkeys.
Yes, you love monkeys.
Yeah, so it was
Mark's
worth it.
ginger, so he has an affinity with orangutans. Now, they were not on today's excursion.
They weren't.
But monkeys in general.
But yeah, it was just a lovely moment to sit there. There was a couple of moments actually where we both stuff happened and we weren't filming.
And we said, oh, I'm glad
And
that we
were
weren't.
like, I would have loved to show you, but also it's fabulous to be in the moment.
You need to be in the moment sometimes, and we were.
Yeah, basically.
Like when the capuchin caught a banana from one of those.
That's what I was going to say. The guy threw a banana, like literally, like overarm threw a banana, and the capuchin grabbed it and ate it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so special. Anyway, what a lovely day.
It was a lovely day.
Can you tell
enjoyed it.
we've been to Richard's rooftop just before
I
this?
don't think so. Well, not for me anyway.
And I'm just thinking because we're being quite...
Thoughtful, whimsical. No, what's the word? Melancholy.
Yes. But it's been a lovely day.
It has. However, we are very hot and sticky. And as we said, we went straight to Richard's rooftop because priorities. And now we need to get showered and ready.
And wash the stickiness off.
So we're supposed to be going to Up With a Twist tonight. We're not sure if that's going to happen or not. We'll see, because Sarah and Nicole are coming with us. Their excursion's overrunning and they're not sure if they're going to get back in time. So we're going to see what happens, but we're still going to get showered and ready just in case. If not, we'll find dinner somewhere else. As always, we need to get this on t-shirts. You'll find out when we do.
But good advert for booking a sure thing through the cruise company, because you would be panicking if your excursion was running late and you weren't booked.
Back in time, yes, you would.
Yes. We're not set sail to Hopper 7 this evening.
All aboard is...
Oh, all aboard is Hopper 7.
Hopper 7.
So we'll set sail at Hopper 8.
I think they'll be back.
And then we're going to start our transit through the Panama Canal, which will be in the next video.
It shall.
But having now been on our excursion to the lake, what was it called?
Gatun.
The Gatun Lake. We're going to be sailing through that in this big, massive vessel.
For about 5 hours. I think it's an hour and a half in each lock system and then 5 hours in between going through Gatun Lake.
Yes, where we will probably be able to see the wildlife we saw today from this balcony.
I don't know if we'll be able to see the exact wildlife because they're quite small. But they did say we should be able to see anteaters, potentially a sloth or two.
Anyway.
Lots of things. Deer, apparently.
Oh dear, I never heard that.
No.
Anyway, you'll have to watch next week's video to find out if we did.
You will, yes. But for now, we're going to get showered, changed, ready for dinner, wherever that might be, and we'll bring you with us.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. And just like that, we are refreshed.
We are ready. We have de-sweated, de-greased.
We have. And we're going to go Up With a Twist. Sadly, Sarah and Nicole have had a right kerfuffle. And I feel really bad for them because they had a mess up on their first time seeing this on a previous sailing.
You're just not meant to see it.
Don't say that. It's very cruel.
I mean it with love. I wish you could see it.
Yes, but we're still going to go tonight because it seems to be sold out every other night. So tonight might be the only opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
So we're still going to go. We checked with Sarah and Nicole. They're happy for us still to
I'm
go.
slightly worried because we need to get up quite early tomorrow to watch us go into the first locks.
Yes.
And if you've watched our previous series, Up With a Twist comes with
a lot of drinks.
Quite a few cocktails, but
I think we'll be okay.
We don't need to drink them.
And we'll intersperse with water.
We'll be sensible, don't worry.
Yes, we shall.
Yes, we will.
Anyway, onwards!
Onwards to Up With a Twist.
Yahoo!
Up With a Twist is a brand new dinner show debuting exclusively on Brilliant Lady and is held in the Manor. As soon as you enter, expect to get a real feel of the vibes of this show, where the cocktails are flowing and there's a chance to meet the members of the cast before the show even starts.
There's something else going on.
The dinner show costs $50 per person and includes 6 cocktails and a 4-course French-inspired menu. We'll tell you a bit more about the show a little later on, but for now, here's a flavour of what to expect.
And it's morning.
Good morning to you
Good
all.
morning to you all. So we left you on the way to Up with a Twist.
Yes, we upped with our twist.
We twisted our ups.
I do enjoy that show so much.
It's such a good show. It's the cast. This is a new cast as well. So we saw it on Brilliant Lady back in August, September time. And this is a completely new cast, and they did a fantastic job.
Yes. Yeah.
I still think my favourite character is the pink.
The drunk one.
The drunk one. Well, no, actually two. There's one that gets up and sings with the big microphone and swings around.
Yeah.
But then there's a lady that comes out in the pink kind of
yes.
Marie Antoinette type
It's so
dress,
funny.
and then all the pew pew. That's for long-time viewers.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But she has cream coming out of her breasticles.
She does. Yes. Hilarity ensues.
Yeah,
I do enjoy that. And I actually quite like the food. I know people think it's not quite. People mixed reviews for the food, but I actually really like it.
I really like it. You get basically a fillet steak.
The tenderloin was really tender. It was lovely.
Is that widely known knowledge that a tenderloin is a fillet steak or not?
I don't know.
Unless it's not.
On the menu it says
it seemed
tenderloin.
like a fillet steak.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, oh gosh, did we rock then, or was that me?
That's you.
So when we first saw it on Brilliant Lady last time,
Mm-hmm.
we sat a little further back.
Well, I was going to say, brave, was it controversial yet brave opinion?
We this time sat at the very front on the first table by the stage.
Mm-hmm. I think it's better further back.
Yeah, you're a little bit too close, and especially for filming, I got some really good shots, and then all of a sudden it was like I was very close to people's private parts where if they were stood at the front of the stage, I was like, "Ooh,
You get a face full of crotch.
I shouldn't be filming that bit."
No.
But yeah, you're a little bit too close.
Yeah, so if you get the chance, sit a little bit further back, because I think you can take it all in more.
Yes.
Still a really good, even
Always
if you're at the
style.
front, still a really good show. And it depends what you want. If you want it to feel a bit more immersive and a bit more in your face, sit at the front. If you want to just see the whole show and take it in, sit further back.
Yes, yeah. Should we say we got the same ending this time as we got last time? So the premise of the show is that it's a bit of a talent show, and then the person you vote.
Well, I would say it's like a speakeasy type vibe,
Yes.
and the owner or the host is leaving, and so they're trying to find the replacement. So the talent show is like them all trying to get our votes to become the new proprietor
and the
of the Emporium of Excess.
And the concept is that whoever you vote for, that's the end act.
Yes.
It was the same act as last time. Whether it varies.
Well, it was. I think it was slightly different. The aerialist is a different aerialist to last time.
The aerialist won last time.
Yes.
They won this time. We have heard that there have been other endings. So
if you've had another ending, if you've seen it, let us know what it was.
Yes.
Because it's always been green for us.
The 2 times we've seen it.
Yes.
And then that brings us to here.
It does.
We had a nightcap last night, actually, because those strong cocktails in I was going to say Another Rose, Up with a Twist, weren't enough. They should have been enough.
Yeah, the only one of those I didn't drink was the one that, is it bourbon? And I drank it last time. It tasted a lot more of bourbon this time. Maybe they were a bit heavy-handed with the pouring. But yeah, we went and had a nightcap with Sarah and Nicole because, as we mentioned, they couldn't make it to the show.
I think Clinton joined us too.
Clinton joined us for
because it was his birthday yesterday.
It was. Happy birthday again, Clinton, for yesterday.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
We are here. We are currently sailing on the Gatun Lake.
Yes, we have gone through the first set of locks of the Panama Canal, but
that's for next week.
That's for next week. So you're going to have to wait. And if you want to see that, you're going to have to subscribe if you're not, and you're going to have to hit the notification bell, and you're going to have to give a thumbs up to this video because you've lasted this long.
Yeah. If you're still here, do all the bits and bobs.
Oh my God, there's a ship.
That is a massive ship. It's just going past our balcony. I'm going to pause it because I want to film it.
We've seen it now.
Sorry, we're back. You've got our attention again now.
But we've come back to say goodbye. So that is the end of this video. As I've already said, if you've enjoyed it, do the subscribe.
We do hope you've enjoyed it.
We do hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, and we want to again say thank you to our wanderers. Do feel free to join if you feel like supporting us. Having said that, your view alone is good enough support if you didn't want to. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We do.
We appreciate you all.
We do, very much. But if you have enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you might like the one over Mark's face next.
Yes, if it's the Panama Canal one, it'll be there. If not, it'll be something else. We'll see you over there if you fancy it.
Yes, and if not, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.